Okay, in this video, I want to show you guys how you can use your calculator rather than some of the formulas that they give you online and in the book to solve compounding problems. Now, the formula that's in your calculator, you cannot use it for simple interest and you cannot use it for continuously compounding, but anything else you'll be able to use it for. So for the simple interest and the continuous compounding, you'll have to use the formulas for those, but luckily those aren't too bad. Okay, so the first example I'm going to run through with you is we're going to invest $11,000 for 9 years at an APR quarterly compounding. Now, to use the calculator, there are values that you need to plug in. There's the N, which is the number of periods. Since this is 9 years, each year 4 times, that would be 4 times 9, that's 36 periods. The interest rate is 4%. PV stands for present value, that's what you currently have, that's your initial amount, and you're depositing $11,000. The PMT stands for payment. In this problem, we're not talking about additional payments or deposits, so we're going to leave that at 0. Future value is what we're looking for. We want to know in the future, in 9 years, how much are we going to have? And then the PY and the CY, that's how many times it's compounded a year. Since this is quarterly compounding, we want to do that 4 times. Okay, so to plug all this stuff into your calculator to get the answer, you're going to hit your apps button. And the very first option says finance. You're going to use the finance. And then the very first option says TVM Solver. That's what you're going to use. You're going to plug in all these values here. N is 36. That's 36 periods. Your interest rate is 4. You don't need to put in 0.04. You just put in 4. Your present value is 11,000. That's what you're starting off with. Whoops, 1 0 too many. Payment is 0. We're not making any payments. Let's see, future value is what we're looking for, so we're going to leave that alone for now. Your PY and your CY should be at 4, and then, unless we tell you otherwise, leave your payment at the end of the month. Okay, once you have all your values in, since we're looking for future value, I'm going to come up to FV. Make sure I'm blinking on FV. Whatever it is that you're solving for, you make sure you're blinking on it. Okay, then I'm going to hit my alpha button and my enter button. Right here in green, mine says solve. Yours might be in a different color if you have a different model. Because mine's in green, I'm going to hit the alpha button first because this is green. That tells me which button to hit first. So I'm going to hit alpha, enter, and it will tell me my future value in 9 years compounded quarterly at an interest rate of 4%. So this is what we would have. Whoops. This is what we would have in 9 years. This is my future value of what's going to be in the bank. Now, if the question additionally asked you for how much interest did you make, since you put in 11,000 in the bank, and this is how much you had after 9 years, the difference needs to be the interest. So I would take this amount minus this amount, and whatever's left over is going to be the amount of interest that you've earned. Okay, the second example is pretty much the same thing, but instead of doing quarterly compounding, we're doing daily compounding. If it's daily compounding, you want to compound it 365 days a year. So if we're doing this for 5 years, that's 5 times 365. That's what's going to go into your N. Okay, this is, my interest rate is 5. My present value, we started with 25,000. That's what we're investing. We're not making any payments. We're looking for our future value. And I want to make sure my PY and my CY is 365. That's how many times it's compounded a year. So I'm going to put all that information in my calculator. I'm going to put in 5 times 365. That's going to give me 1,825 times. That's 1,825 periods. I'm going to put an interest rate of 5. 25,000 is what I'm starting off with. I'm not making any payments. I'll skip over future value. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to put my cursor on that later. And my PY and my CY, I'm going to put in 365. Now, if I'm looking for my future value, I come up to future value. And I hit alpha, enter for solve. So after 5 years compounding daily, I'm going to have $32,100.09 if I round to two places for dollars and cents. For this example here, we're looking for present value. We have an account that's annual compounding at 6%. We're doing this for 6 years, and we want to end up, it says, we need to figure out how much we need to deposit today in order to have $65,000 in 6 years. So that's our future value. That's what we want in 6 years. So N is 6 because it's 6 years once a year. So that's 6 times 1. My interest is 6. My present value is what I'm looking for. There are no payments here. My future value is $65,000. That's what we want to have in 6 years. And my PY and CY is going to be 1 because this is compounded only once a year. I'm going to put all that in on my calculator. I'm going to put in 6. Present value, I'm going to leave it alone. My payment would be 0. My future value, I want $65,000. And then this is once a year, so I'm going to make sure I put in once for PY and my CY. And then I'm going to go up to my present value since that's what I'm looking for. And I'm going to do alpha solve. So in order to have $65,000 in the bank in 6 years, I need to deposit $45,822.44 right now. And then over those 6 years, I'll earn enough interest so that I'll have the $65,000 sitting there at the end of the 6 years. Okay, 2 more examples. In this example, we're looking for the amount of a payment. It says we need to save a college fund for our child. You have an interest rate of 5%. You want to make monthly deposits to accumulate $89,000 in 14 years. So my future value is $89,000. That's what I want to have in 14 years. This is monthly. So to figure out my number of periods, monthly for 14 years, that means 14 times 12, that's 168 periods. My interest rate of 5%. I'm starting with $0. I want to start depositing money into the bank. So I'm starting with 0 for my present value. My payment is what I'm trying to figure out. How much do I need to put in each month? My future value is what I want to have in the bank for my child's college fund, $89,000. And since this is monthly, this is both going to be 12. So then this is what I'm going to put in on my calculator. I'm going to put in 168, 5, my present value 0. I'm starting with nothing, but I want to figure out how much I should put in the bank each month. So I'm looking for my payments. I want to end up with $89,000. And this is monthly, so I'm going to put in 12 and 12 down here. I'm going to come up to PMT because I'm looking for the amount of my payment. So I'm going to hit second, enter. So according to this, I should be paying each month into the account $366.86. All right, last example. We're going to make deposits of $300 a month and put it into an investment plan that pays 3.3%. We want to know how much is going to be in the plan after 15 years. So if we're doing this monthly for 15 years, the number of periods, 15 times 12 months, that's 180. My interest rate is 3.3. We're not starting with any money. We're starting at 0, and we're going to just start depositing $300 a month. So my payments are going to be $300. My future value is what I'm looking for. And then my PY and my CY, since this is monthly, is going to be 12. So I'm going to put all this in the calculator. 15 times 12, that's 180. And I put 3.3. Present value is 0. My payment, I'm making a payment of $300 each month. Future value is what I'm looking for, so I'm going to leave that alone right now. And I want my PY and my CY to be on 12. So now I'm going to come up to future value, and I want to see if I deposit $300 for 15 years, each month in the bank at this interest rate, how much am I going to have in that 15 years? So I'm going to hit alpha solve, and it looks like I'm going to have $69,750.99. Now, how much will have been paid into the account? How much am I putting into the account? Well, that's $300 and 180 payments, because that's 15 times 12. That's 180 payments over this whole period, times 300. That's going to be $54,000 is what's going to be deposited. But then the balance, what we're going to have with the interest and everything that's been earned over those 15 years, is going to be your future value, the $69,750.99. If it additionally asked you for the interest that was earned, this is how much money we put into the bank. This is how much money is there after 15 years. So the difference has to be the interest. So I would take this minus this to get the interest of $15,750.99.